X10 had a really humble beginning, and it only got better and better as time progressed. Today we have fantastic home automation systems that you can control just by your iPhone, for example. But personally, I still like X10 because there's just so much you can do with it. And I got a couple modules here just to show off. This is a lamp module. Set your house code, unit code, plug it into the wall. It's completely wireless. It just works through the wiring that already exists in your house. And you plug in your appliance here. Lamps only, apparently. But yeah, it'll work maximum 300 watts. So it'll do a pretty decent lamp. We also had modules here that could also do appliances as well. So your coffee maker, your TV, or fans, or something like that. Of course, we also had wall switches, so you could switch them on and off as well using that method. And we also had wall outlets. But essentially, X10 covered every single base. In fact, they even had porch light motion sensors. Like, there's one right there. Again, all uses X10. So it was all able to be controlling, or these modules could control other modules. And you could have a really, really impressive X10 system. You could have like a controller that sat next to your couch, and you could turn on the air conditioner, or you could turn on the lights in the bathroom, or something like that. And they just kept on making modules. They had relays to open and close your curtains. Or not relays, they had modules to open and close your curtains. They had relays to control your irrigation and your air conditioning in your central heating system, and just all these fantastic things. But one of the best things that they ever did with X10 was allow computers to communicate with it. And they've been doing that for decades now. One of the earlier versions of an X10 controller from, well, the powerhouse as they would have called it. This one here plugs into an RS-232 connection. Came with a little bit of software. You could kind of lay out your house and be like, oh, well, I'm going to program this button here to turn on the lights in the living room, and this one here to turn on the lights on the porch, or something like that. And computer automation remained with X10 for the rest of its life. And we had IBM's Home Director. There's another version of it right there. This came with a full proper graphical interface for Windows 95 and Windows 98. Doesn't seem to work all that well, unfortunately, with Windows NT or Windows XP or later versions, most definitely not, like Windows 8 or Windows 10. But it's the other accessories that didn't require a computer directly, but still made you interface with the system that were some of the most interesting of the bunch. And that's where Master Voice comes in. Now you may have already seen this device when I talked about the plastic film that was on the cover here, but this is the Butler in a box. This is a speech recognizing home controller. Not a whole hell of a lot to it. Visibly, there's not, well, at least there's nothing going on with it. We have this LED right here, which is obviously understanding that I am talking to it. And there's a green LED right next to it, which every so often will turn on and off like it's understanding a command, but then ignoring it. And actually, we should also have a rather fantastic vacuum fluorescent display on it, but I can't seem to get that to work. And there's a reason for that. Someone's broken the glass nipple, so it's lost its vacuum. It's totally useless. I don't know why the hell they do it. The whole front here was pried off. This here got broken. I had to saw that back together, and it's just, ugh. Yes, so my first time getting a Butler in a box has been a complete and total crash and burn. But the rest of it still looks pretty nice. I'm just going to give you an introduction to this device. We can actually flip down the front here, and we have a keypad right here that's built into the flip down. Nice little membrane. And it actually beeps when I talk to it. But other than that, it doesn't seem to want to do a whole hell of a lot else. Got a little map overlay here of things that it can actually be programmed to do and how to get through all the menus. And let's just quickly take a look at this. Store phone number, quick start, system reset, dialogue check, and yes, unfortunately, in 1983, teaching a speech recognition is very, it's very interesting. From the one video I have seen of someone using a Butler in a box, there was a lot of talking like a robot to make it work, and a lot of training altogether because, well, it's 80s technology. It was also expensive 80s technology. This was about $1,000, I seem to recall. They didn't sell a whole lot of them either, even though this is the Series 2, so this is obviously the second generation. I've seen the Series 1. What's different so much about them? Everything on the front's the same. On the back, you have the same connections. We have our microphone, external speaker, our phone connection there. By the way, you can dial into this, and you can use it, I believe, as your answering machine, but most definitely you could call into it and you could say, turn on the lights, or you press 5 and it'll like prepare to turn on the lights or get something ready before you get home. And then we have a serial and parallel port. Presumably you can connect this up to your computer so you could save the contents of all of your speech training that's on it. And also you could attach external relays to it as well in case you want to control stuff not through X10 but through specifically itself. It can also act as your security system as well, and it also would have a clock here as well. But the other reason I can't use this, I'm sorry. I'm not dying, by the way. The other reason I can't use this is that I don't have the PIN. And that's like a 4-digit number, so I have like 10,000 possible different combinations I can go through here. And without the PIN, you can't do a whole hell of a lot with it. I can push the buttons, and it would just beep. I can talk, and it'll blink the LED. I can walk around in a room, and the infrared sensor here will obviously try and detect something, but unfortunately, other than that, without a PIN, I can't use it. I have opened this unit up already, and it has 2 EEPROMs in it. Now, whatever machine code they have on there is going to be very specific to the CPU used, and that's encased in an epoxy block. So unless I do a lot of severe reverse engineering, it's not going to be easy to pull the pin out of this device. And I guarantee you, it's probably on one of those EEPROMs right there, because it'd be a lot of work just to save that to an EEPROM or something within that epoxy block, and then package it in the unit. And then also what happens if the epoxy unit has to be, or if the CPU fails and the unit has to be replaced. Yeah, it's awkward. Anyways, this is the Master Voice Butler in a box. If you ever see one of these, totally worth it. I paid about $25 for this kind of broken one. I've seen them sell on eBay for about $25 to $75. There were a couple of highball ones that sold for about $200, $300, but they're really nothing all that special. Just make sure they have their pins.